a little bit of surfactant, a little bit of crop oil, make it stick. I ain't measuring any of this. I'm just, just going with what I like. 2,4-D is what gets that Roundup and really lets it eat. All right, we're going to set up phase 2, or let's say the sophomore album with the permission farm I've got. I got this farm probably middle of October, if I had to guess, last year, and a couple weeks into being here, we had a really good deer on this farm, and I thought the deer was probably 4, but it's the type of deer that he wasn't going to get any older if I got close to him, and we just couldn't catch up with him. I had obviously no food plots or anything on this, nothing was developed on this farm at all. So I had to go back to basically the roots of being a bow hunter and trying to read sign and figuring it out. I had several daylight pictures of this deer, but never could catch up with him. And I think this deer is really being pressured by people that are in the area that I would say know about him. So we're going to come up with a different plan this year. We are thankfully going to put a food plot here in this inner field that we're going to try and set up as the ambush site to kill this deer. I'm thankful to the farmer that he let me put this in, and so today we're going to spray, get the food plot in. We're going to move a stand that's over my shoulder here to the other side. We're going to set this farm up for what we believe is the most successful way to kill this deer, which is on a west wind, and the way we think this deer travels and uses this inner, I would call it a peninsula off of this bigger field. We feel like we can set this up to get this deer killed here. This is where I got the most pictures of him. So we're going to spray a plot, spray for where we're going to plant. We're going to move the stand, do all the trimming. We've already got a camera here, but we're basically going to try and do all the prep work today to where the next thing that we have to do to set this farm up and get out of here is just come in, actually install the food plot. We're going to go ahead and move the stand today, get everything hung, and then we're going to get out. And I honestly think that what we will be doing for this deer that's different than what it's getting around here is I'm going to try not to bait or put any kind of supplemental feed here at all. We're going to try to only rely on this food plot and the topography and just the way these deer use the property to kill him. We're going to make sure to our best attempt that he doesn't feel like he's being hunted. So let's go get it done. We're going to backpack spray this plot. I haven't done that in a minute. That's been usually I have other equipment to do this with, but this is just a way to be mobile here, and it's not going to be overly big, probably ½ acre to 3/4 of an acre. So we're just going to do it by hand, the old-fashioned way. Let's do it. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about the chemicals real quick. If you're watching this, and I don't know how fast this content will come out, but you need to get up from the chair or wherever you're watching this and get out and spray your food plots. I think it's probably one of the most successful parts of the process in planting a food plot is eliminating weed and other grass competition. So my combo is 3 things. I use a surfactant or a crop oil. It just helps the chemical stick on the weeds better, and it helps the plant to feed on it better. Then I use 2,4-D, which is a low volatile broadleaf killer, and I use, of course, glyphosate or Roundup. Glyphosate just isn't as powerful as a lot of people give it, and I have found adding 2,4-D to it will get a really good kill, especially on like all your broadleafs, and like I can show you right here. This is like a little tree. You've already got a small tree, a bush starting here, and I can promise you with 2,4-D we can get that killed. So we're gonna 2,4-D, we're gonna spray all this, kill it good, probably do a controlled burn just to get some of the tonnage off, and then I'm gonna bring my tiller. We're gonna till this in the old-fashioned way, seed and cultipack. Let's go. So what started last year as a really exciting story, at the end of the year, it ended as a fairly deflating story because probably 4 or 5 days before Christmas, I was going to go for broke, go home, spend the holidays with the family, and then try and really, spend the entire month of January getting this deer killed. I set everything up. I set almost 7 cameras in a 50-yard area here trying to get a better idea of how this deer was utilizing this peninsula to travel. Well, after I set all those cameras up, I never took another picture of him the entire season. Did he die? Did someone else get him? Was he hit by a car? Whatever. Did he shed out early? Never found his sheds, never found anything. And to my excitement, about 3 weeks ago, on a camera right there, I'm really glad I didn't shoot him. Really glad. He'd be the biggest deer I've hunted in a long time. So the story is hopefully going to pick back up.
right, I'm up here pulling Tyler's stand that he, did you hunt this stand last fall, Annie?
Nope.
You never hunted it? Tyler never hunted this stand, but he hung this stand last fall. It's on the west side. I'm talking to everybody up here. We are pulling this stand today and moving it to the other side right now. It's on the west side of this narrow field. And I really think we need to set this up for a west or a southwest prevailing wind, which would put it on the east side of the field. That way, with a southwest wind, a buck can come in from the corner with the wind in his face, and we just have, we're just burning that crosswind off from the other side.
And I think this is the right move for us, because we're gonna set this up so that this little block of woods on this farm is my only hope to keep does in here. It's my only hope to keep bucks wanting to travel this more often, is to keep does in here. And what I mean is, it's not a big block of woods. If we start hammering into that woods, we're gonna push all the deer that would be bedding on this farm off. So we're gonna stay up here, but what we know is that is not that big of a block of timber, and a buck could check that, wind check it on a west wind just by walking this scrape line. He can check this plot, he can check that block of woods just by walking through here, which will put us at about a 3-yard shot. We've got a locust that is going to work. It's going to have to work, because it's going to set us up for a shot right here where we're standing, and it's going to set us up for a shot on the inside corner of this food plot. The other thing we did is when I sprayed the plot, I didn't go all the way to that edge. We kept it in. Javen came up with this idea, and I loved it. We probably stayed off 10 yards over there, which takes us from like a 45-yard shot if a buck travels the edge of the food plot over against the brush to a 35-yard shot. So it's longer, more narrow and longer than square. And that as well, I think, is going to help get a deer right here in front of us. We got to get the stand up there. We've got to trim lanes for 2, maybe 3 shots. And then we've got to chainsaw and open ourselves a path through the back side of this ditch so that we can access this from the east, hunting it on a west.
We'll have to trim quite a bit to really get it open enough to get some good shots, but we don't want to trim too much, because obviously we want to keep as much cover as we can. And this narrow strip of ditch is not a lot for back cover, so it's going to be tough to get 2 of us in the tree here without getting detected. But some of the stuff we'll have to get high enough to shoot over so that we don't have to cut as much, but we still want to we want to get right to that height to where we can shoot over what we need to shoot over, but don't have to cut as much, and we don't want to get higher than we really have to.
Sprayed the plot, we've got the stand hung, everything's ready to go. What's the last thing you've got to do? We're not quitting until the entrance to that stand is cut. We're gonna cross this creek ditch, go through all these berry bushes, and out to the other side of the field. Someone's calling, wants to sell us a farm. Can't do both. Let's cut a lane. Well, the thing that we're lacking, if anything, I'm proud of us, but we're lacking something to mark this, like a ribbon or something, just so you can kind of know. But Javen brings up a really good point. If you take a look at this property on the aerial, there's just this little ditch of timber that splits that peninsula we're hunting and this bigger field. Javen's thought was cut all the scrape limbs on this side of this brush, so they really know if they're gonna go make scrapes, they gotta get over there to mark the territory. It's a great idea. I think we're out of time for today, but I think that's something we could add when we're back making noise, putting in the food plot. I could be over there tilling it in, and Javen could run over here and zip them while we're making noise. And I think that would honestly have this thing fully set up. So that right there was the last part of the ticket we needed to accomplish. Is a great way in, clean way in. Gosh, you're adding so much success or potential success to the stand if you can get in and out undetected. We'll come in off the east over here on the property line, head west, hunt it on a west. Old Bronny James could be in trouble.